I started out this video with the idea of talking about internet troll, and I think I'm going to continue on that path, but I'm actually going to include some other stuff in the mix that I think probably needs to be talked about as well, depending on how much time I find I have in the video. But I want to talk today, as I say, on the subject of internet troll on the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. It is Wednesday, the 1st of September of 2021. We're really getting along in this year. And I want to welcome everybody who's here on Rumble on the podcast and on YouTube. Remember, Rumble is my preferred platform and where I would prefer that you watch me. The subject again is internet troll, and I'm going to very quickly go through my notes and kind of discuss what brought this on, I guess you could say. I guess it must be true that there are people out there who see value in internet trolls and similar types of people. For my part, I have a very hard time doing that. I've never intentionally trolled anyone, and I'm having a hard time imagining a time when that would be reasonable. Maybe I disagree with folks, but when I do, I try not to goodness me, maybe I disagree with folks, but when I do, I try not only to have a discussion, but to really try to hear what the other party or parties are trying to say. This is a key component of trolling as far as I can tell, that you cannot really care what folks are talking about. Your job is to stir up sludge. Since I tend to be about helping to clarify things, you can be sure I'm not trying to do that at all. The thing that makes this worse is that most folks who troll others end up being bullies or so close to it, it's hard to tell the difference. I can't tell you how many folks have resorted to name-calling or trying to assert authority when they had none. And the sad thing is, many of those folks didn't probably see themselves as trolls. They ended up that way, but they didn't see themselves that way. For a person who knows better, recognizes what they're doing is trolling, there seems to be little doubt they'll try to use such tactics. Some get into downright illegal coercing, hacking, and similar activities, then often act like what they have done was justified in some way. You may be able to correct my foolish notion, but I have no time for trolls, internet or otherwise. Look, we've got enough problems in the world, and we've got enough confused people, and we've got enough people who have various problems that they're dealing with in the course of time and in their lives. And the last thing most of those people need is somebody who's making life harder on them. And this is particularly true for people who do not know how to respond to such things. It's already bad enough that they don't know how to respond to those things. There's no real good way to make it so that you're doing anything nice or meaningful to those people. And here's the thing about it. You can have people laugh about their responses, right? But the reality is most of those people who you're able to troll are immature. For whatever reason, whether it's because they've got some issue or other, whatever it happens to be, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you know, they're immature. They're not able to deal with things on a level of maturity and with a level of processing power, I guess you could say, that makes it possible for them to see that what you're doing to them is good-naturedly or bad-naturedly having, quote, fun at their expense. My answer to people trolling me is pretty simple, really. Okay, whatever. I don't mostly care. You can call my mom names if you really want to do that. You can act like there's something wrong with me in particular. I don't really have a problem with that. That's fine. You can do that. Fine, whatever. You can try to gaslight me. You can do whatever particular little thing floats your boat. You can try and act like you have some sort of authority over me and are going to tell me what I shouldn't say. Well, I got news for you. There are people who have that authority, and if they choose to exercise it, I guess they do. My attitude is this. I don't say what I say because other people tell me you can and can't say this or that. And if you do, you are part of a problem child generation. I won't even say generation. It's really a group of problem children, right? There are a lot of people out there who allow themselves to be cowed or, toe that line so that they have to do and say what other people expect, or they can't talk at all. Well, my answer is, if you don't like what I got to say, I guess you don't like what I got to say, but you better learn to live with it, or you better learn how to shut me off, because as far as it goes, I'm going to say what I say. I will try to make myself as reasonable a human being as I can be, but please don't assume that just because people say you should be talking this way or that way, I'm going to just acquiesce to what they say and do that. That's not how that's going to work. I didn't come to the conclusions I came to yesterday, and I didn't come to them by listening to one or two people and figuring out where I was going. I did a lot of casting about a lot of different ways, and I'm still doing that today, so I'm still willing to listen, and I want you to understand that. But at the same time, I'm not willing to be trolled to silence. If you just really have to troll me, I guess you have to do it. But probably what's going to happen is I'm going to ignore you. And I don't mean necessarily, though I may come to the point with some people where I have to actually block them or whatever. But I'm not going to ignore you so much as I'm going to look at you and I'm going to go, that's probably a troll. And I'm going to respond in the most reasonable way that I can, and I'm going to let you act accordingly. But what I need for you to understand is trolling is maybe not always, but far too often something very much akin to bullying. And again, in general, it's taking advantage of people who are less knowledgeable and able. Here's the thing. Do you not think that people like me or others who see people who are saying things that are maybe not all that sensible or intelligent don't realize that the people saying those things are probably not all that mature or haven't really thought the process through properly? I don't need you to try and point up what's wrong with something somebody said, and I certainly don't need you to make fun of the way they dress or the fact that they're, quote, overweight or ugly or whatever. I don't need that. I'm not looking for that in my life, and I think you're going to find that most people are right there with me. What they're looking for is good arguments, good discussions, good considerations, and things that may change their minds. They don't need people trolling other people, and that's on the internet or in normal life. I think it probably is more prevalent on the internet because it's easier for people to do it in an almost anonymous sense, right? They literally can hide themselves behind other people or behind masks of various kinds such that people can't see them, and that's why I think so many people do the internet trolling thing. From my perspective, I started doing videos in part because I want people to understand I'm not interested in trolling you. I want to have a discussion. And I don't just want that discussion to be quite clear. I don't just want that discussion to be me talking to you. It's why I say I want comments and I want feedback on my videos. Because I want people to tell me, Kurt, you're all washed up. Kurt, this is wrong. You need to think about that. You're not considering the other. And then we can talk about it. I'm not saying I'm just going to give in because you've said various things like that. Right, but the one thing that I really can't abide, forget trolling me, I don't care. Troll me if you got to do it. But my answer to you is, the thing that I really can't abide is where you take helpless people and beat them up on the internet, or anywhere else for that matter. I'm just not a fan, and I'll never be a fan of that. I'm not going to help your numbers if I can avoid it. That's not something I'm going to do. In my mind, trolling is almost always, when it's, quote, really effective, closer to bullying than just about anything else. By the way, I had a definition for trolling that I think I wanted to give too, just to give you an idea what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find that very quickly. It's just a quick and dirty little definition, and I thought you might find it interesting or useful. So let me see here. It is internet troll, someone who takes pleasure in causing drama by arguing with people without wanting to accept anyone's response, also known as a Justin. And that's from Urban Dictionary, and I've got the link to that on the screenshot that I just threw up there. So my attitude is, look, if you're really going to be a troll, you're probably looking for someone other than me to even like what you're doing. I won't, I'm sorry. That's just that. Okay, so I need to go ahead and wrap this up. We're just coming up on time, so this is the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt, and today is Wednesday, the 1st of September of 2021. That means tomorrow will be Thursday, the 2nd of September of 2021. Coming up on that weekend, thanks to everyone who's been here on Rumble, on YouTube, on the podcast. Remember that Rumble is my preferred platform and that you can give me a positive Rumble or a plus sign or a boxing glove on Rumble. You can give me a negative Rumble if you feel the need to do that. You can also give me a thumbs up or a like or a thumbs down or a dislike on YouTube if you want to do that. And again, I really appreciate it when people comment on my videos so that I know what you're thinking about what I'm saying. Subject for today has been internet troll, and tomorrow we're going to talk about an interesting one, and it is the concept of enemies. Hope you're having a good day today. Hope everything is going well for you, and hopefully we will see you again on tomorrow's edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Wednesday, September 1st of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @kpschubert. That's @kpschubert. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.